So I was on the gram just now. The good old gram. The gram. Uh, Still there. I shouldn't be, but I know a few people there, and you know, having those friendships is something that I enjoy. Plus, I can post things that I like and that I find amusing, and find other memes that are amusing. So that's that's how I justify my presence on the gram. But somebody just posted about how this is today. I don't know if it's right. Like today, like till today is June 17th. I don't know if it was exactly this day when 3 years ago when the riots really started up, where it was just like this automatic thing. It just like, did you hear about George Floyd? Oh man! And then it was just like, boom, boom, bang. It mobilized suspiciously quickly, just like things had mobilized suspiciously quickly earlier in 2020, in a different manner, of course. In March, things mobilized very quickly, almost as if it had been pre-planned. And in June, it mobilized really quickly, as if it were, astroturfed. But 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 somebody posted a funny meme and a really good cathartic meme about showing some. It was showing some guy kind of he kind of looked nerdy. He looked like Kip Dynamite in Napoleon Dynamite, Napoleon's brother, and he's looking all smug, and he's holding up his phone, and it's got the black rectangle, and he's like with this smug expression on his face. He's while "In the Arms of an Angel" plays over the soundtrack, and it's like there's some voiceover about like I I can only try to understand you, or all this like all this rhetoric. It's very self-aggrandizing through self-abnegation rhetoric that white liberals are so adept at, especially when it comes to racial things. It was dreadful. It was a dreadful period because there were so many. It wasn't just the black rectangle thing. It wasn't just suddenly seeing all these people that you sort of thought were cool, that you sort of thought were okay, that you sort of thought, well, this seems like a perfectly reasonable person. All of them putting up their stupid fucking black rectangle, virtue signaling. But it was also like the kind of the sanctimony just oozed out of everywhere, everywhere. It was oozing out of your smartphone. I remembered seeing posts from people, and again, this is another Instagram phenomenon. Although maybe it was other places too, maybe other social media featured it as well, but it seemed like this was mostly an Instagram thing, the black rectangle or the black square. They call it a black square, but it's really a black rectangle. It was like, again, people that you didn't think you wouldn't have expected this from. That was the most disappointing thing. People who were not annoying, uh, you know, sanctimonious on their high horse kind of people, who just seemed like normal run of the mill nice people, they were suddenly posting things about being an ally. Like, oh, it's so important. Being we've got to be an ally. We've got to show that we're allies. Like ally became this word. I remember seeing like When I would go into Barnes and Noble, and they were very they were very sanctimonious themselves about masks at the time. But you have to wear a mask to be in here. When they finally opened up, it was just like, but and the staff were all really nasty about it, and so were airline uh, uh, hostesses, stewardesses, whatever the hell we call them, or whatever we're supposed to call them. Pull that over your nose, please. You need to pull that over your nose, sir. Um, Gosh, I remember all kinds of great memories just flooding back, flooding back. Um, I flew in a plane in early 2021, and that was what it was like. And they were blaming the customers, of course. They were blaming the people getting on planes and not wanting to put up with that shit. They were saying there's been a disturbing increase in airline passengers behaving in an unruly and disrespectful manner. No, the problem is you authoritarian fucks treating us like babies and scolding us. If that damn useless piece of cloth, wasn't covering both of our nostrils for a moment. Yeah, that was the problem. It was you. It was you. It was not us. And I think this gets to my. This is not just me angrily ranting. Okay, this gets to my point, which I'm coming to here. Um, so yeah, the black cube or rectangle or square, the people, you know, going on about allies and allyism. That's why I brought up at Barnes and Noble, because there was something about read this book to find out about allyism. Allyism, like that was a thing, you know. And I was thinking all the while, I'm not your ally. I'm not interested in being anyone's ally. Um, you know, if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. But that's the way it is. Okay. Um, so screw, scram, get out of my face. So yeah, and they were actually coming after people. It was like they had these slogans like "Silence is violence." Silence is violence. So if you weren't doing anything wrong, but you just weren't displaying activism in the proper way, the way that they were prescribing it, the way that the mob that they had whipped up was demanding, then you were just as guilty as somebody who as a white cop who beat up a black kid, or put his knee on the neck of a fentanyl addict. Um, anyway, um, but it like all of this. That this was 3 years ago. This was the summer of 2020, when suddenly it was good. You're supposed to go out and march in the streets. You're supposed to get in close contact with a bunch of other people, as long as it was for the right cause. If it was for the wrong cause, then you were being a super spreader, and it was really really irresponsible of you, and you were a bad person. You were killing grandma. But if it was for the right cause, then you know you're doing your part. Good on you. Uh, Hashtag Black Square, right? Hashtag George Floyd. Um, so there, it's like, I think, and this is going to be this is the big point that I'm coming to here. Um, we hear a lot about people getting radicalized. People being exposed to extremism on the internet. People becoming extremists, and the question, what radicalized? How did these people get radicalized? And the thing is, it's you fuckers who are asking these questions. You insufferable liberal leftists, intellectually intolerant and retarded leftists, you neoliberal types. It was you. You have yourselves to blame. You have your own insufferability to blame. You have your own sanctimony to blame for the radicalization of people like me and others. I guess I was kind of already radicalized, this pushed me further to the fringes, further to the margins. And I know of other people. I know, like I had a conversation with somebody who I would consider a normie the other day. He's a good friend of mine, and he was talking about how the things like the summer of 2020 pushed him in that direction. Now, I don't think he would refer to himself as he still wouldn't say he's an extremist or a radical, but he became like much less optimistic about the idea that we can all just live together and in harmony and tolerate one another in spite of our differences. So, next time you ask, next time one of you, disingenuous motherfuckers, asks the question, what is all this, where is all this radicalization coming from? Why are so many people getting radicalized? Why is this happening? Let's do a study. Let's do a college study on this and look at various people who are in the alt-right and say and ask why they became radicalized. And then we'll come up with our fancy theories about it and write papers and publish books and have articles in our Tony magazines and newspapers and no, you fuckers, it was you. You are the radicalizers. There. I was wondering where my finger went. You are responsible. If you would cool it with your bullshit, if you would cool it, if you would mellow out, if you would say, well, I may not agree with them, but they have a right to feel the way they do, and we can, and we'll just tolerate one another. Then if you took on that kind of attitude towards these people that you despised right now, if you took on that kind of attitude, watch how radicalization evaporates. But keep it up, because I know you will. Because I know you people. I've known you my whole life. I've been surrounded by people like you my whole life. Keep it up like I know you will, and watch what's going to happen. Watch what's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to be your fault. Your fault. You are the radicalizers. That's my message. Thank you for watching.